I recently came across some very interesting sets of research about the habits of Italian men and Italian culture that I think help explain why they are seen as the most stylish men in the world. And the great news is that they are very simple to copy and you can start embracing these habits yourself to become more stylish. So let's get right into it with habit number one. That is that Italian men spend more money proportionally on clothes. So a study done by the clothing company Lyst found that Italian men on average spent $307 a month on clothes, which was $100 more a month than the women in Italy. Although Italian people generally earn less money than Americans, there is definitely a stigma in American society and a lot of Northern Europe that spending money on clothes as a man is a unnecessary indulgence. Not only do some men feel like spending a lot of money on clothes is unnecessary, but they even feel like it's selfish if they have a family to provide for. But investing in high quality clothes not only benefits you, but it benefits your family and society around you. It makes you feel good, which means you're more likely to work harder and you're more likely to take greater pride and care about other aspects of your life. Another thing I love about dressing well is that it shows respect to other people. When you look at images of society in the 1950s, isn't it so beautiful to see all the men dressed in suits and ties and the women in dresses? The world just looks like such a prettier place when everybody is dressed up, and I think it indicates common respect. It shows that you are serious about your job or whatever kind of event you're attending. And I think it's a beautiful message to convey. And I think once you start dressing in this way, you'll really feel that and embrace that and want others to do the same. The second thing that Italian men do differently is that they simply spend more time in front of the mirror. So a 2016 survey looked at the amount of time that people spent bathing, shaving, dressing, styling their hair and grooming in a week. Out of 8 major countries surveyed worldwide, Italian men spent more time in front of the mirror than any other nation. They spent 5 hours a week in front of the mirror grooming and pruning themselves, compared to 4.3 hours a week in the USA, 4.1 in Hong Kong, and I'm very embarrassed to say that the UK actually came bottom of the list with 3.7 hours a week. So think about this. If you were to spend 1 extra hour a week in front of the mirror, what could you improve? Maybe you would take care of your manscaping and make the lady in your life happy. Maybe you could try on some different clothes from your closet, see what accessories and combinations work well for you. Maybe you would take care of your facial hair or even change your hairstyle. Recently, I was unhappy with my hairstyle, so I spent a bit of extra time in the mirror. I bought some new products and I found a style that I think works much better for me. So with just 1 hour extra in front of the mirror, there's a lot you can do, and it's totally up to you how you spend it, but I think this could make a big difference to your overall appearance. The third benefit that Italian men have over most Americans and Northern Europeans is their knowledge of fashion. Fashion and style are so deeply embodied in the culture of Italy in a way that is just incomparable to the US. From Loro Piana to Gucci to Rubinacci, Italy has a concentration of style powerhouses and master tailors that is only rivaled by a few cities like London and Paris. So for that reason, many Italian men grow up with fathers who take a greater interest in style than most Americans do, and they're more likely to inherit those key wardrobe staples like the loafers, suit, or even a tie from their father. Because most of the world's finest fabrics are made in Italian mills, Italian men are better likely to understand fabrics, the form and the function of each fabric like linen, cotton and wool. And today, the trade show Pitti Uomo attracts the best dressed men from around the world to come show off and peacock and enjoy their flair for style. So there's definitely a greater celebration of style in Italian culture that I think America and most of Northern Europe could benefit from adapting. And one final reason that most Italian men are more stylish is because of the cafe culture in Italy. So Italian men in cities habitually visit cafes every day and like to sit outside and enjoy their cappuccino or espresso while watching the world go by. This sport of people watching is kind of lost on most American cities and towns where people are in their car all the time and they're grabbing their coffee from the Starbucks drive-thru rather than sitting out on the terrace or the street and enjoying this wonderful sport of people watching and checking out other people's outfits. This cafe culture definitely inspires you to look your best. It gives you a reason to dress up, and you can also take ideas from the other stylish people that you see around. Now, there might not be the same level of cafe culture where you live, but it doesn't mean that you can't use your local coffee shop as an opportunity to dress up. Enjoy your flair for style, even just a small amount, and it will probably make you feel more confident. You're more likely to strike up a conversation with a stranger in that coffee shop, and it will give your confidence an extra little boost that the caffeine can't. And even if nobody notices you, then hey, you enjoyed dressing up, so it's totally worth it. Now finally, I will say, just be cautious of stereotypes. There's definitely a tendency in American culture to romanticize Italian life and view Italian men as these kind of style gods that are untouchable and so different from Americans. The reality is that in a lot of Italian towns, the men dress pretty much just like Americans, and they don't dress particularly well. You know, it's more in certain cities, and it's more certain kinds of men that dress well. But those that do dress stylishly do it so sublimely that they represent their country really well. So I think it's great to adopt the best parts of this culture and learn from them, but also don't hold yourself accountable and compare yourself to an unrealistic stereotype of what Italian style is. You could be living in Pittsburgh and be a million times more stylish than a guy who was born and raised in Naples. But I do think it's very useful to examine the most admirable traits of other countries and cultures to see what we can learn. I would totally happily do a video like this about a different country. But let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, if you think that Italian men are the most stylish in the world. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.